Hey there, loser. I've heard some interesting things about you. And I've also seen you looking at me. Not just like a glance, like staring, looking at me. Under even normal circumstances, that really wouldn't be appropriate. But this is you we're talking about. And I just have to ask, why do you think you have the right to look at me like that? Let alone at all. No, don't back away. We're having a conversation, aren't we? Sit down. That's right. When I imagine the fact that you, right now, could be thinking about me, just in any way, really, that I could be living in your head, in your thoughts, it disgusts me. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want to even exist in the same world as you, the same universe. You're pathetic. You're obnoxious. And you give me the creeps like nothing ever has. Now, normally I'm happy to just ignore weirdos like you, but you just can't seem to take your eyes off me. In fact, you've been sitting like a few desks too close to me lately, and I'm sick of it. I'm done. I want to make it very, very clear. There is not a chance, in this world or the next, that we would be anything other than complete strangers. You're not even worthy of, my scorn, of my hatred, because then I'd have to be thinking about you. When I see you, I just wonder how it is we could possibly be in the same place at the same time. And you know what? Initially, I just told myself that I was probably making a big deal out of nothing. No, they're not actually looking at you that much. You're just being paranoid. But then, when other people started to come up to me and say, hey, I noticed, and then they notice the exact same thing that I've been noticing, it becomes pretty damn clear what's going on. So look, I don't want anyone else to have my name and yours in the same breath at any given time. All right? I said, all right? Speak when spoken to and never at any other time. You'd be doing everyone in your life a favor. And maybe you're wondering to yourself, what is the big deal? Why is she so angry about this? I'll tell you. We are so fundamentally different, we're hardly even the same species. You hardly look like you should be bipedal, let alone human. Honestly, calling you a dog would be an insult to dogs. You're not even domesticated, so I couldn't say that you're a pet. You're something lower than that. Lower than a trained animal. I know. You're like a wild rat. Scurrying around, eating garbage, bothering everyone, freaking everyone out. So if you ever wonder why it is that no one seems to like you, it's the same reason a lot of people don't like rats. And even then, rats have a pretty dedicated group of people who like them. No, you're a filthy, disease-carrying rat. You're the kind of rat covered in fleas. Covered in plague-carrying fleas. Disgusting. And to tell you the truth, I can only hope that there are people who exist on this planet who can stand you. Because if they're not, then I'm just stuck watching you wallow around Like, I have to pray for you. I have to hope and pray that somehow your life gets better so that your life can stop having anything to do with mine. It's honestly ridiculous. Like, I feel bad for the people who are going to end up stuck with you. But as long as they aren't me, that's all that matters. Got it? Good. So, from the top, let me make a few things very clear. From now on, you sit as far away from me as possible. You don't look my way at all. Not when I'm speaking, not when the teacher calls my name, not when I stand up, never. I don't exist to you. And you don't exist to me. You are less than nothing. Oh, and if possible, don't speak if I'm in earshot. I don't want to have to hear your voice. Not any more than necessary, anyway. The only thing I ever want to hear out of your mouth is, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Just confirming the things that I am telling you. Beyond that, you shouldn't really need to say anything at all. You've never had a thought worth expressing in your life. To think otherwise would just be to put everyone else in far more misery than you already do. Do you know what it's like when you're a polite person in social gatherings and someone speaks and just doesn't stop? That feeling begins the second you take a breath in. Everyone around you is like exhausted by your presence, by having to endure yet another second of your existence. Don't ever forget that. You should be grateful that there are people in this world who can stand you and are polite enough to pretend it's not a chore. I assume your home life must be at least better than your school life. It's a low bar. You know how they say, a face not even a mother could love? Well, at least you have a face a mother could pity. You have a life a mother could pity. In fact, your mom probably cries herself to sleep thinking about how awful it is that her child ended up like this. She probably had dreams of a kid doing far greater things. Being more interesting, more attractive, more fun to talk to. Just anything going on at all. But no, she's stuck with you. Your best bet in this life is probably just to get a bunch of cats. Maybe dogs. But cats are probably better. At least they can take care of themselves. God knows what you'd end up doing with a dog. No, at least cats aren't able to express verbally how much they hate you. They might even be able to hold back their claws and their teeth if you feed them on time. Hell, they might even take pity and sleep at the end of your bed, just to feel a little more warmth. And then you can pretend that they actually care about you. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone who cares? So yeah, that's my advice to you. Get a pet. Leave the rest of us alone. Bile literally rises to my mouth when I think about the fact that you probably had like a crush on me. On me. I cannot imagine the audacity of being the way you are and allowing yourself to have any kind of notion that you and I could be remotely compatible. Like, really? Are you serious? There's delusion, and then there's just insanity. In fact, I'm surprised that you haven't been locked away by a psychiatrist a long time ago. You're a bona fide freak. Pathetic, disgusting, terrifying freak. Honestly, you should be thanking me for taking the time to tell you all of the stuff that frankly should have been obvious. Like, here I am, spending time out of my day to think about you and put you as a whole into words for your own comprehension. Like, you're welcome. This is the most interaction you will ever have with the likes of me in your whole life. In fact, this much interaction at all is a blessing and a gift. Years from now, you'll sit back and think, gee, remember when she cussed me out really good? Just told me how pathetic I was? That was probably the best moment of my life. The only highlight. The only time somebody paid me any mind. So yeah. I hope I've cleared a few things up for you. Now we can both return to our lives with this behind us. Excuse me? Did you just talk back to me? In fact, did you just talk to me? Remember what I said earlier? Speak only when spoken to and literally never at any other time? Did I ask you a question? Did I ask for your input? I don't think so. No, in fact, I thought I made it pretty clear that I don't want to hear your voice. Stop right there. Like I just said, I don't want to hear your voice. It is so grating on my ears. It makes me grind my teeth and clench my fists. The urge to run away, the urge to punch you in the face, fighting in my head. Nothing is more obnoxious than being around you. Yet you always somehow manage to top yourself by opening your damn mouth. Just everything about the way you talk. Your inflection, the volume, the pitch, the tone. It's awful. You know what? You know what would make you more interesting? People might even like you. Just pretend to be deaf. Pretend to be deaf like you can't talk for the rest of your life. At least then you'll seem somewhat interesting. Learn sign language, maybe. That's at least a hobby. It's impressive, so maybe you wouldn't actually be able to do it. At least give it a try. But if you really don't want to pretend to be deaf, you could at least just pretend to be dumb. Like you can't talk. You can hear everything just fine. But you can't speak. That way you actually have a chance of getting people to like you. It's mysterious when someone can't talk, you know? It'll at least draw out your interactions. People will have to wait around to hear what it is you have to say because you can't just come out and say it. How else could you force people to spend time with you willingly? But I'm getting distracted. You were trying to say something. And as much as the sound of your voice really just makes me want to claw my ears off, the things that you were saying were even less important. Your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings will never, ever be important enough for you to actually say them out loud. Do you understand? Just nod. Nod if you understand, okay? Good. So yeah, let me make that crystal clear. I don't care how you feel. I don't care about you at all. What I'm saying here and now is not debatable. This is final. No ifs, ands, or buts, all right? We are nothing. We are not friends, we are not enemies, and we certainly are not lovers. My fondest hope is that when I walk away from you today, I don't ever have to think about you again. I won't ever have to have your name in my head. I won't ever have to look at you or hear you. We may go to the same school, live in the same town, but there's enough room for you and I to stay far, far away from one another. So if you did like me at all, then you'll do this for me, right? Leave me alone. Hey there, audio is over, but this is Seaglass coming in to just say something nice because that whole thing felt really mean and made me feel kind of bad. Please take care of yourselves. You are worthy of love and attention, no matter what mean girls online say, or in real life, God. Bullies will say whatever they think will hurt you the most. Doesn't make it true. Just know that if you have no one else, I love you. Okay. Thank you for listening, and take care.